You guys today, Dijonai Carrington, after clotheslining Sophie Cunningham, running into the locker room, screaming, "That's white privilege!" Then tweeting 8/23, threatening Sophie Cunningham and the Indiana Fever. Dijonai Carrington now comes out and clarifies what she means when she says white privilege for the Indiana.
2 minutes left in the first quarter. Dijonai Carrington just slapped the dog shit out of Sophie Cunningham. Sophie pops up. She's obviously upset. Dijonai says, "Try me." And then look at Stephanie White. Look at her face. Look. It's mad as shit. Now, number one, this is obviously a flagrant 2. It just is. By the letter of the law, you got to call a flagrant 2. We all know.
That girl needs to be thrown out the league. She's not even a good enough player to be bringing this type of drama. She needs to be thrown out.
Dijonai Carrington was ejected from the game, but instead of letting the situation die down, she took the controversy straight to social media. There was no apology and no real explanation, just 2 words posted from the locker room: white privilege. And even days later, Carrington is still defending that message. She's been trying to clarify what she meant, walking parts of it back, and responding to critics who challenge her take. What started as an ejection has now exploded into a much bigger controversy. And honestly, it has become one of the most unusual reactions we've seen from a WNBA player this season.
Sophie Cunningham, otherwise known as MAGA Barbie in the WNBA, is a superstar player. She's one of the most famous female athletes in the world because she stood up for women in women's sports, saying only biological women should be allowed to play in the WNBA. And for that, she is literally risking her life. Check this out. This is what happened to Sophie Cunningham last night when she was clotheslined by a filthy, dirty player for Chicago who has a name that I can't pronounce, or maybe I just refuse to do that. That's my right as an American. But this is a player that has attacked Caitlin Clark, gouged her eye out, that has now bloodied the face of Sophie Cunningham. And as soon as she did this, she tweeted white privilege, meaning she's declaring this is a race crime. Now, if a white woman was doing this to black women, it'd be the #1 story in the world. She'd be banned from the league forever. But somehow black women are allowed to get away with this against white women. And it's white women in the league who make themselves a target by simply standing up for traditional values and common sense.
Sophie Cunningham has spent much of this season as one of the most vocal players defending her Fever teammate, Caitlin Clark. She has repeatedly spoken out about what she believes is a lack of protection from the league and officials when Clark faces heavy physical play. Cunningham has pointed to specific incidents, called out individual players, and even claimed that some teams have discussed in their locker rooms about making Clark understand just how physical the WNBA can be. That kind of criticism was never going to win her many friends around the league, and Cunningham has made it clear that she understands the attention and backlash that comes with speaking so openly.
Goo! That's assault, brother. You can't do that. What the fuck? Is this just the default if you can't think? Or if you just don't want to take accountability for your actions? Oh my god, this league, bro, this league. Bro, white privilege while you're wearing a bleach blonde dyed wig. I mean, the fuck? What is privileged about that? You stone cold Steve Austin clotheslined her ass. What about that is white privilege? The WNBA stays undefeated. It truly does. They can't get out of their own way.
That background is important because it helps explain why so many people looked at this particular foul and immediately wondered if there was more to it than an ordinary hard basketball play. Cunningham had already established herself as one of the players willing to speak publicly about the physical treatment Caitlin Clark receives on the court. Now, she was the one taking a forearm to the face, leaving her bleeding after the contact. Whether Carrington intended any deeper message or not, the optics were difficult to ignore. The moment the ejection happened, the entire situation suddenly carried a much bigger narrative than just another physical play in a basketball game.
Beyond concerning at this point how far from the plot we have actually gotten. And when I say the plot, I mean the basketball. How far from the game of basketball we have spiraled. When we're talking about the WNBA, you know, we used to joke, it's like, oh, 0 days without drama in the WNBA. This league is living up to it at a rate and a level of concern that we haven't ever had. With all the
that's going on in the WNBA, Dijonai Carrington tweeted out white privilege from the locker room of a game that she was playing in. Get this, she fouls Sophie Cunningham hard. Sophie Cunningham, obviously white person, fouls her hard. Flagrant 2, gets ejected, goes to the locker room and tweets out white privilege in the middle of the game. Now here's the kicker to me. A flagrant 2 has to be contact that can lead to an injury that looks excessive. Dijonai, it was about as excessive as possible. If there was any evidence of there being white privilege, this was not it. What the hell do y'all think?
And Cunningham isn't the only person who has noticed the growing tension around Caitlin Clark. Earlier this year, legendary broadcaster Dick Vitale spoke out after Clark was ranked just 9th among guards in a league-wide player poll. Vitale called the result nothing more than pure jealousy and suggested that players across the league would eventually recognize how much Clark has contributed to their financial success and the overall growth of the game. That statement took on a different meaning after the Carrington incident. Once again, a player closely connected to Clark and her Fever teammates was on the receiving end of a dangerous physical play. Yet instead of seeing universal support for Cunningham, the reaction included a former teammate openly celebrating the moment, while a head coach appeared to offer a measured defense of the player responsible. Whether those situations are connected or not, the repeated pattern has certainly fueled the perception that there may be deeper tensions surrounding Clark than what's happening between the lines.
Across the face, coming down, trying to prevent the layup, but that is just a hard hit. That's definitely going to be upgraded, I think, to a flagrant 2, Ryan.
I think that is going to be a flagrant 2. There is
Get
what you fucking deserve.
And just getting her out of the
Lucky
way.
it wasn't a right hook.
Make no mistake about it. Carrington targeted Cunningham. She targeted her because of her political stances. She targeted Cunningham because of the praises that she keeps receiving. She targeted her with a dirty shot that had absolutely nothing to do with basketball. And then after getting ejected, she runs to the locker room to play the fucking victim card. Like she didn't try to just take off Cunningham's head in 4K. Like we all didn't just watch it happen. That is not competition. That is a grown woman swinging on someone who she disagrees with and then screaming racism when she gets held accountable for it. Dijonai Carrington needs to be held responsible, and I'm not talking about just getting ejected from the game. She deserves a suspension. Maybe she'll think twice next time before she tries to take somebody's fucking head off.
Here's what happened on the court, because once you actually watch the play, the sequence is pretty straightforward. Sophie Cunningham was racing down the court on a fast break with a clear path to the basket, looking like she was about to finish an easy layup. Dijonai Carrington chased the play from behind, but rather than making a clean attempt at the ball, she caught Cunningham across the face and neck with her forearm. Cunningham went down hard from the contact. Somehow the shot still dropped through the basket, but at that point nobody was focused on the score anymore. The attention immediately shifted to the impact and the foul. Officials reviewed the play and upgraded Carrington's foul to a flagrant 2, resulting in an automatic ejection. Cunningham was left bleeding after the forearm to her face and neck, while Carrington's immediate white privilege post sparked a much bigger controversy. Critics argued the call was based on the severity of the foul, not race, and questioned the timing of her message. Carrington later insisted the post wasn't about the foul, but the clarification only fueled more debate.